the Redbird Reboot Podcast. Are you ready to get rebooted, Cardinals fans? He settles down, at least in the zone, and does not stop running.
Blake Murphy.
This is the identity for the Arizona Cardinals.
The run defense is just horrendous, and it's been horrendous for the Cardinals for a long time.
And Marcos Labrada.
He's going to bring over his philosophy. It should make it better.
Present the hottest NFL podcast from the country's hottest state.
He should be turning around the logo.
Actually, some breaking news we can cover here. This popped up just about, 6 minutes ago.
It's Redbird Reboot.
Woohoo! It's about damn time. Oh my God, sorry about that, guys. It's twas the night before Christmas. Obviously, it's Christmas Eve. I had a little bit of things to take care of, so that's the reason why we're on here. Kind of late, but I figured last time you guys were with me till like 9 o'clock, and then my internet just crapped out on me. So I thought to myself, you know what? There's gonna be some people watching, and I thank you guys for coming onto the stream. Now, I know that for the moment, I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with like having to, be able to see the comments or be able to see people streaming. I'm obviously kind of new to being able to like have interactions with people, but that is the main goal. So what I want to do, if possible, while I'm, obviously talking to you guys right now, is I want to see if I can interact with you guys, because my main goal to begin with, when I was wanting to start streaming and wanting to do podcasts and whatnot, was to try to have some interaction with you guys. Mostly just like, hey, can I see what you guys are talking about? What are you guys commenting at? Like, what do you guys want to ask me? Like, same thing, ask you guys questions as well to see what you guys think about when you guys think about like what's going on with the Cardinals in the grand scheme of things. Like, it's important for me to have like that type of interaction, because I want to know not only from you guys and your perspective of like about like what do you guys think about a certain play, but also like what do you guys like, what do you guys what's your guys' view from your point of view? So obviously everybody has their different opinions, but all opinions are welcome. And once again, as I try to figure all this stuff out, we'll keep growing this community. Obviously, I want everybody to like also have their own opinion about what they think about a game, not just listen to what people say, but also see it for yourselves. Now, I think, and I'm not sure, I think I should be, it shows at least in the system that it's not live on Twitter. So please let me know, like send me a DM or give me a comment and let me know what's going on. If on Twitter, if it's not like, if it's not working well, or if something's wrong with it, please let me know, give me some feedback about everything. If you guys can't, like, if you guys are having a hard time hearing me, also, I want all feedback. All feedback is welcome. And same thing, like I'll give you guys my feedback about like just anything in general. But like I said, I want to, pretty much just grow this community, and I want to get, people, having conversations with each other about what's going on. And it's almost awesome to see like the community, when you guys start bantering amongst each other and then figuring stuff out for yourselves, or just talking, amongst yourselves and stuff. I know that there's a couple like very like film savvy people out there as well that are part of other communities, and I've had my interactions with those people, and it's awesome. So once again, just that's exactly what I want to do. I want to like grow the community and stuff. So if you guys can, like, just I'm not sure, like, just grow, obviously jump on the YouTube portion. You can always drop a comment there and let me know. But as usual, we'll get started with the film. So I have some things that I've been already like taking a look at when it comes to the film. Mostly the last couple of drives. There's some circumstances where I thought to myself, what's going on with our defense? Like, I know our defense has been bad against the run. That's not it. That's a given. It's been like that for years now. It's been like that for like, actually since I remember. It's all the way back in 2018 where the Cardinals have not been good against the run. 2018 was obviously the year that we had Josh Rosen. We drafted him in as our as a 10th pick in the draft, and Sam Bradford, the guy who stole money from us, essentially was given starter reins. I think we signed him for like 20 mil, and 3 games in, it was just horrendous. It was so bad that he went down with injury, and then we had to give Josh Rosen the keys to the to the franchise, because he was going to be the guy that was going to lead us to a new like era in Cardinals football. Obviously, a year later, we don't have to rehash this again. We obviously moved off from him, but the whole point is that the run has been just horrendous since then. And if you guys watch, obviously, the intro, you guys will hear me say like the run game has been horrendous and been horrendous for years now. It's true. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up another window here, and I believe I should have, not if I don't have the All-22 downloaded from my NFL files, I'll go ahead and just pull it up on something. Nope, hasn't downloaded yet. I think I have to try to download that. If not, then we'll just move on and just go to like the pro website, which is the one where you can filter out and stuff. All right, I see it's downloading at the moment. Okay, we'll just go through the pro website. It's not a big deal. I just gotta sign in and not let you guys see my credentials like I did last time. But I hope you guys have been having a good day. It's been a good day for me as well. Let's see. And if you guys hear whimpering in the background, it's because that's my husky. She wants attention right now. Obviously, I'm over here streaming with you guys, spending my time with you guys, but you guys will see her from time to time. And if you guys haven't seen her, she had popped up in some of these podcasts. Like, you'll see her head just walking around and stuff. Obviously, I had that. I've had a black cat. I've had bunnies. I've had bunnies just I'm an animal person. My bunnies are particularly kind of a pain in the ass because they will chew everything up, and they ruined they ruined my mouse, and they ruined my microphone like cord and stuff. I mean, it is what it is though. All right, guys, let's see. Let me get you guys the window view so you guys can stop hearing me blabber about like nothing. Okay, there we go. All right, guys. All right, so here we go. This is the film room. Obviously, this is where you can filter stuff out. Apologies about like how it's gonna be looking. Obviously, if it's through the internet and whatnot, and you have to like kind of load it up that way, it's not gonna look as crisp and as defined as you would have if I had my NFL like download, the one that has the All-22 and both end zone angles and stuff. Pretty nice. So, all right. So we're gonna cover 2 things here. We're gonna talk about how miserable the defense was in the closing seconds, or like during like overtime and whatnot. And we're gonna address the elephant in the room, which is Kyler Murray and his erratic play and whatnot. It was interesting. You know what? Let's just dive into that right now, and I'll dive into some film about Darius Robinson to see what's going on with him. But I do have to pull up the play because it was that egregious and whatnot. So I'm pulling up the interception, and I'm just gonna go straight into that, and then I'll go ahead and move on to something else. But this was this made no sense to me. If you guys listen through the press conference, this kind of like, I'm not sure if you guys were like kind of like confused by what Kyler Murray said. So if you watch the play, you'll see that Kyler Murray said he was trying to hit Michael Wilson. That he was trying to get the ball to him, but it's just, it frustrates me how he did it and what he did in this play. So you got yourself a little bit you got yourself a 3-by-2 formation. I figured that was a 3-by-2 formation. You'll see Marvin run kind of like a little, not a deep end, but kind of like a deep end or a a dig route is what I like to call it. You'll see Michael run the go route deep. You'll see McBride come wide open. So this is where my confusion came from. He's going to run kind of like a out route about 15 yards down the line. He's going to break it to the outside. It's going to be wide open. For some reason, no one's going to defend him. And so you have, I believe Dortch runs a crosser, and then you have obviously your typical like someone out to the flat. I believe it's going to be Dallas. DJ Dallas is going to run to the flat and whatnot to present himself as the dump off option. So we'll let the play play out. Sorry about that. And so you see, like I said, well, I was wrong. So DJ Dallas was a flat. The bottom, you have Greg Dortch in the flat. So you have your two check down options right here. So here's one thing that I'm gonna say before this plays out. You'll see it in the end zone angle. I'm not the biggest fan about chipping in some situations. Now, Kurt Warner had brought this up. When you don't have to chip, don't chip. Don't have your wide receivers have to chip any defensive play, anybody, not a defensive end, not a linebacker, nobody. If you don't need them to chip, they need to get out to their zone. They need to get out to the flat. They need to get out to whatever it is that they need to get out to. So I'm not a big fan of that. Like I mentioned, you're going to see that there was a pass rush that became potentially worse, all due to the fact of a chip. So somebody chipped, I believe, number 7, and his pass rush lane was just going to go straight up to the tackle. Once he got chipped, it made his rush like that much easier. He went ahead and hit him with the club over technique, or a club technique, and just got past the tackle, and it made it harder on him to be able to contain. So you'll see it in the end zone angle. So anyways, let's go ahead and make the play, like play it out. Shit. I'm sorry. Yermus and Ish. So he rolls to his right. Obviously, number 7 got the pressure on him, and you'll see why. He's looking downfield. Now, this is what I thought he was trying to hit. When I saw the replay, I thought he was trying to get McBride running this out route. I didn't think he was trying to go for the home run in getting Michael Wilson. This is what confused the heck out of me, because I thought to myself, you're not going to be able to throw it that far downfield. And if you are, you better get it. Like, he better be releasing that ball now. Now, you have somebody over the top of Michael Wilson, but he has all the momentum. You see this defender, the safety, kind of taking to the boundary. So as you play it out, he's running towards the boundary, looking down, like kind of like defending top down on McBride, and he's leaving the boundary safety. He's leaving him to take that responsibility of Michael Wilson, thinking that he probably has like the angle to be able to cut this throw off if Kyler Murray attempts it. He hitches on it, and then he doesn't release the ball. Now at this point, I think to myself, he didn't release the ball. So maybe throw it away. Maybe throw it to McBride. That's who I would have thought his target was going to be, McBride. Instead, he just, with no force on that. There's no way for him to generate force on this throw whatsoever. He hitches. Then he throws kind of off platform. Like, I'm not talking about off platform as in like what the buzzword is. He doesn't have his feet under him. He can't generate any force. He hitches, hesitated the first time, and then he goes back to it. And I like, when you think about boneheaded situations, that one comes into mind. Like, I think to myself, like, why would you even try to attempt that throw if you were thinking about it and you didn't like, you didn't like the look, you pull it back and then you try it again. Like that's ridiculous. That's egregious. And so let me hit the end zone angle so that way you guys can see what I'm talking about when I talk about like chipping here. All right. Oh, it's gonna do it. Sorry. It's gonna do its thing, so I gotta let this play out. Date using this. Okay. So oh, my dog's scratching the door. I'll let him in a second. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. You'll see number 7. He's about to line up way wide outside of the tackle's shoulder. You have Trey McBride. Now you think Trey McBride would be the one who's chipping since he's closer, but Greg Dortch gets motioned, and they do kind of like a switch release, where he becomes a new number 3 receiver, or the new number 2, and he's the one who's the chipping option. So there you see, he comes on the inside of he lines up inside of Trey McBride. He chips him, and look at that. So he essentially makes this pass rush easier, and this isn't new. This I've seen this. It was egregious. No, it wasn't egregious. It was something I seen constantly with Rondell Moore. Rondell Moore was a strong, like, physical, like, smaller receiver, so he was able to knock people on their butts. This is something that you saw constantly with him, and this is what happens sometimes when you have a tackle doing a like jump setting. He's coming out to try to attack this guy. Essentially, if he comes out and he jump sets, and this linebacker, this defensive end, whatever you want to call him, gets a chip, his momentum is now going towards the inside, and he's not expecting it. It creates that pressure where, people will say, well, the offensive line didn't hold, it's their fault. Well, no, you got to look at the film here. You can see what really happened there. I mean, he was given a better rush lane. He was given help by Greg Dortch over here. He essentially like gave him like a little bit of a boost to be able to attack to the inside. I mean, I don't think that linebacker makes that move if not for Dortch giving him that little shove. So it is what it is. That's why you gotta watch the film. Yeah, he does a swim technique, or a club over technique, whatever you want to call it. The old JJ Watt club technique. Except he didn't do it on his own. He got help from it. So yep, that was pretty egregious there. So one of the things I love to look at, first things first, is I want to see like third down, like what were we doing on our third downs. Now, Bryce Young had himself a really good game. Statistic wise, it wasn't a great game, but the point of it wasn't so much that it was a good statistical game by Bryce Young. It was just how he carried himself. There's that play where he trucks one of our safeties. I think it's Jalen Thompson. I'm not sure. He gets up and he smiles. He's like, yeah, like I'm a small dude, but I'm not afraid of contact. That galvanizes your defense. I mean, your offense. Your offense out there is now like, whoa, he's putting his body out on the line. Like he's really like, he's really trying to win this game for us, and he's doing everything he possibly can, which is like trucking somebody. What happened like back in 2020 against the Eagles? We had Kyler Murray slide at the first down marker. I always thought that was egregious. I thought to myself, yeah, you had a defender close to you, but you could have been able to get that if you would have like held off your slide. But he slid because he didn't want to get contacted. He didn't want to get touched. And that was in a situation where like quarterbacks were like being handed. They were being handed like roughing the passer, and you've seen it yourselves against the New England Patriots. He was bailed out by a roughing the passer. So anyways, let's look at this real quick. I'm going to look at third down conversions on our own defense. And we're going to, judge accordingly as to why these were failures. So Jonathan Gannon or Nick Ross stuck to a 5-man front the majority of the game. They played that base, personnel. It was, what you would say is like a kind of like a bear front with your 3 defensive linemen in the interior, and you have your 2 outside linebackers. And the whole purpose of that is to try to box in them run. You don't want them to get the edge on an outside zone run. So you have your guys shoot up the field. This is the old Vance Joseph type of defense. It really pretty much is like a 3-4 base, and they wanted to keep more of like like linebackers out on the field and lighter personnel. And the reason why that was the case is because I think Jonathan Gannon seriously just didn't think that like the wide receivers, Carolina wide receivers, weren't threatening him with anything. Like there wasn't going to be a situation where these guys were going to go off on us. And Bryce Young just he's getting up there. He's becoming better. I'm not saying he's fully ascending, but he's been getting better and better, especially in the second half. And that's something that as Cardinals fans, we want like a different type of situation where we're actually, instead of them getting better, like somebody else that we see as a rookie quarterback getting better, we wanted our quarterback to get better as the time went on. So I believe this was a 41-yard. No, this was a 5-yard gain. I believe he got the first down on this one. Maybe this is the one where he trucks his one of our safeties. And these are important. These are the money downs here. Yeah, he takes it up himself, trucks, gets that first down. That's embarrassing as a defense, but also this is what I mentioned. This is the type of play that your offense, while they don't want you to take a hit, they don't want you to be out for the rest of the season. Bryce Young has nothing to lose. Like he's playing with house money. He doesn't have to prove anything other than the fact that he can play this game, and because of the fact that he's playing with house money out there, because hey, any type of improvement is just showing the franchise we're going in the right direction. He goes ahead and he trucks this safety. I believe it's Jalen Thompson. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have our 8, 8 people at the line of scrimmage. How many blockers do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have one more rusher than they can block. So this is essentially like cover 0, or at least a cover 0 look. In this circumstance right here, you're going to see some people drop into coverage. That more likely than not, when Nick Rawls calls this this type of this type of coverage or this type of blitz, he's trying to he's essentially trying to do a simulated pressure, which means he's trying to get to the quarterback by changing their protection schemes. Maybe he wants to make him slide a certain direction, but he does this and then he pulls people back into coverage, and it can confuse the quarterback. Sometimes it can make him make a mistake, and I believe that's what happened here with Bryce Young. He was reading that this was going to be cover 0. He brings his wide receiver or tight end, to become an attached tight end, essentially another blocker. Look at the bunch up in the top. You have your you have 2 defensive backs up top. You have 1, 2, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4. You have four linebackers, maybe even 5. I can't tell who this guy is. And you have your defensive lineman right here, and Darius Robinson, who loves to attack from the bottom up. And I love that. And then, of course, you have your casual just drop into coverage. He's dropping into, I believe, the deep middle. He's the deep middle defender. You have DTD. Yeah, he was the other defensive back. He's dropping into this hook area. So he's like the intermediate middle. So if you drew this out, this would be man coverage. This would be man coverage with this area and this area, basically being the zone, the zone drop, like the drop stop. Excuse me, I need to let my dog come inside because he is annoying me. Come on. Oh, God. Sorry about that. She's gonna stay behind the curtain. You guys will see her. If you guys see her, then say hi. Her name is Jezebel. Anyways, so these zones would be the only zones that would be like a drop, spot dropping type of zones with your two safeties, and everybody else would basically essentially be in man coverage, with the exception of. Now this is interesting. At the top of your screen, you have what I believe is SMB. So yeah, that's unfortunately. Thank God that on this coverage, Buda Baker, he's completely turned around. He's out of phase, and good thing that Bryce Young missed that, because that's open. It's open because his back is to the quarterback. So that's not a good coverage snap by our Buda Baker and whatnot. But at the top of the screen, SMB, Sean Murphy Bunting, he's dropping into a hook curl zone, like a spot dropping essentially. This is interesting because most of the time, if your guy is blocking the guy that you're defending, you're supposed to have the free reigns to blitz. It's interesting that he just kept them in. He was spot dropping into this hook curl zone instead of like getting the go ahead to be able to blitz, so that you can always have a one number advantage, or at the very least you have like a it's even, but it didn't do a difference. It didn't make a shred of difference because of the fact that once these guys pretty much do the shell over the quarterback, he finds that opening, he's taking off, and what good is he doing in the zone? There's nobody here. There's nobody to defend over here. All of our wide receivers are at the bottom. They're down here, and they're being covered. You have your deep safety, you have your intermediate like zone safety here, who is in charge of making sure that if the quarterback does take off, or he's there to be able to like punish receivers who are running in breakers. I mean, he ran him over, and that's sad. But what is he doing? Why is Sean Murphy Bunting being told, essentially, your coach, to just guard brass? My God. Okay, in this scenario, if Bryce Young actually was, wanting to make a big play, his guy is in the flat. He was coming open. Of course, he crossed the line of scrimmage, but he was coming open after he had, released from blocking. He dumps it off to him. Maybe he gets the first down. I don't know, but he got it himself. Credit to him. But Sean Murphy Bunting, not sure what's going on here and why he's just guarding grass. This is something we wanted to get away from. 100% we wanted to get away from. These guys have dedicated zones. Sean Murphy Bunting didn't have a dedicated zone. He is just spot dropping, keeping everything in front of him. Don't even think he's even paying attention to what's going on in the flat. You can make the case that like he was trying to defend that guy, so that probably was his assignment. I would much rather him just blitz in this scenario to try to get, Bryce Young down and get that numbers advantage, or keep that numbers advantage. But it is what it is. That's what he was coached to do. Obviously, this is a first down. Terrible defense. Next play. Oh, look at this. Thank you, Silver Wolf. How's it going, Silver Wolf? Thank you, and I appreciate Silver Wolf. Silver Wolf has been there since day one. He is I love likes a lot of my tweets and everything like that. He's always interacted. Merry Christmas to you too. Yeah, I don't think this went for a first down. So let's double check here. 10, 3rd and 5. I believe the next play after this is the 4th down. But this is trying to determine to see. I'm trying to figure out what kind of coverages are in. So you have your two safeties. These guys, he's obviously in a zone technique. Yeah, they're looking like they're in their zone techniques here. They're keeping their eyes on the quarterback. You have your bunch formation, two outside receivers. The number one receivers are unattached. They're basically on an island. And then you have your bunch on the inside. It's an interesting look. Not sure how they're trying to defend this. If they're just trying to cone, like use kind of like a cone coverage here, where there's three different ways of being able to defend this scenario: top cat, locked and level, and basically like box coverage, but it's a triangle. But you would in this instance involve the linebacker if it was a box coverage, and it's just box coverage duties is like whoever runs into my area, that's my defender, and if he releases to the inside, that's my guy. This guy releases to the outside, that's his guy. Locked and level means you're defending. So if this guy runs to the flat, or anybody runs to the flat, that's his guy. Somebody's intermediate, that's this guy, and anybody in deep, that's this guy. So that's all it means. And top cap just means like the number one receiver is being defended by the best cornerback who calls. Usually you'll see them make a signal where they look left and right to their defenders to make sure they get the signal, and then they tap their helmet. All right, so this is the cover three. So they shifted from too high to cover three here. You know that because they're in zone techniques. They're man turning instead of butts to the boundary. You have your deep safety here, and they're just trying to stay over the top of these receivers. I'm not exactly sure I like the fact that like he's giving them that much space to the outside, but I believe he's just keeping his eye out for this deep safety. But in this scenario, that should be Jalen Thompson's responsibility. It shouldn't so much be Xavier, Sterling Thomas, because right here, this guy's wide open. Nobody's accounting for him. No one's accounting for I believe that's a running back, Chuba Hubbard. He's completely wide open. But Bryce Young's already releasing the ball. So in this scenario, when he's releasing the ball, that means a lot of defensive backs just like kind of they don't care about who's around them because they know where the ball is. So there's no reason to be tight on your defender when that happens. So that's the reason why when you're looking at the film and they're staring at the quarterback about to release the ball, if they linger off their defender, if you screenshot this right now, it looks bad on Sterling Thomas, but he already sees the quarterback releasing the ball. So that's the reason why it's not too big. Regardless, though, you don't know if he's hitting any of these receivers or if he's going to hit him at the top. So if he fits that tight window, that's a score, or at the very least, that's a big gain. It's him standing tall in the pocket. He's running like a China route or like a whip route, I mean. So you have the number 2 receiver running a whip route. You have the number 4 receiver just running a stick route, and you have the number 2 running a go route. And of course, you have the number 1 just being ignored, running like kind of like a little, not trying to get anybody's attention. Like don't look at here, don't look at here type of route. All right. Let's go ahead and go into like, actually, let's just go into like overtime. How about that? See what the heck happened to us in overtime. Hold on. Let me look at this. 41 yards. Okay. All right, I understand. Okay. There's a reason why I was only showing 2 plays because I put it in I filtered it to pass, not to just be on field. This will have both the pass and it's gonna have the run. That was actually that's the first. I think that's the first pass of the game. So I need to restart this again. But this is not something that I want to see either way. I was watching JT O'Sullivan and he was going over how he loved this the aggressiveness here. The wide receiver had he had the ball. It was thrown right in the right little bread basket. Had it right in his hands, and of course Sterling Thomas is celebrating. He wouldn't be celebrating if Adam Thielen had stronger hands because it was right there. He had it. And while I'm on the subject, I've seen enough film of Sterling Thomas. There's nothing special about him. There's nothing. I know I'm a simp for God, I even forgot who I was simping for. Keitrell Clark. I do believe something's going on with this guy, either politics wise in the locker room, or I believe the head coach, something must have pissed off the coaching staff about him because this guy got shunned. He was exclusively playing. Now he was playing on the outside. If you watch the film from 2023 of his outside snaps, they don't look too bad. Something happened, I believe it was against the Los Angeles Rams, where he was getting, him and Marco Wilson were getting beat by the wide receivers, but it was Cooper Cooper Kupp and I forgot the rookie receiver that just broke all those records and stuff. Anyways, they were getting beat. Like of course they're gonna get beat. These guys were like tearing it up. They were tearing up the league. So after that game, you started seeing his snap count go down. If you look at these guys' career with like grade wise and like where the stats line up, there's nothing different about like Sterling Thomas and Keitrell Clark, with the exception of the fact that I've seen Keitrell Clark actually make plays. Like he's and I'll save some film just to have for demonstration. He's a screen buster. He's backpedaling, hitting his back foot. Yeah, there you go. Puka Nakua. Thank you. Thank you, Silverworth. I appreciate that. Yeah, Puka Nakua. Just kind of like it happens to me. He hits his back foot. He says he doesn't use a T-step, which means his foot is parallel to the yard lines and stuff, and he doesn't push off of that. But he has this crazy like ability to be able to like backpedal and then somehow just burst forward, and then he comes down and he likes the violence. He likes to hit. I don't understand why people are so like up on Sterling Thomas. I just don't. I do think that Keitrell Clark was kind of screwed because Garrett Williams, who's playing the slot, I wish he would play to the outside, by the way. He was drafted as like a boundary corner, and then Keitrell Clark was supposed to be drafted. His best position was supposed to be in the slot, and he was moved to the boundary. Garrett Williams comes back. He plays in the slot, and he takes over that position. He just doesn't give it back. So the coaching staff keeps him in place, and they think to themselves, why do we need to put Keitrell out there? But they have Sterling Thomas out there, and there's just nothing special about him. Look at this snap here. It tells it all. He's losing. He gets stacked by Adam Thielen. This is embarrassing. There's jokes about Adam Thielen being like old. He's getting stacked by him. 36-year-old, whatever his age is, 36-year-old Adam Thielen is stacking your 23-year-old corner who's supposed to be like a starter because he's impressive. He's not. He's just letting this guy blow by him. Doesn't even put hands on. He doesn't even try to like jam the receiver at the line of scrimmage, even though he's in a press technique. Man turning to the outside and just letting this guy just stack on him. That's embarrassing. Man, like I mentioned, Bryce Young put a little bit more air under that ball so that Thielen could catch it in stride, yeah. But it hit his hands. He dropped it. And of course, once he drops it, you got Sterling Thomas over here celebrating as if he's the one who made the play. No, you didn't make the play. You got lucky. Anyways, let's go to overtime now. Because that's where we pretty much lost the game, and we want to see what happened, why we lost the game. And don't worry, we're going to go back to the offense. Let's go to overtime. Okay. First play of overtime. That's like pretty standard play. So this is just a typical play action, roll to your right and hit the guy in the flat. And I believe Adam Thielen is just going to leak behind the line of scrimmage. So you have three routes usually that you have three receivers in this situation. You have your running back who you fake the handoff to. You have your leaker behind. He usually runs the route behind the line of scrimmage. I don't know if he did that because I was too busy paying attention to Bryce Young. You have your go route. Then you have your over route. Now, you can run this as a crosser, kind of like a scissors. You can also run him deep out and make it a flood concept, which means everybody's running to the same side. You're attacking 3 different levels on the same side of the field. You see that with Drew Petzing quite a bit. It's actually something that I think as far as play action is concerned, I think it's one of his more popular plays, and it's something that like Kyler Murray likes to run from under center because he gets all those options. He gets the option in the flat, he gets the intermediate, and he gets the deep. We'll see how this turns out here. All right, you have him motioning to the side. As you can see, Adam Thielen, as I mentioned, he creeps behind the line of scrimmage and runs to the flat. Usually that's your first read. And you had that motion and release. So you had the motion release, and I believe he's going to run like a wheel route, and he's going to run a shallow. And I wasn't even paying attention. Excuse me, guys. I was not paying attention to Tommy Tremble. He runs like a go route, a seam, go route up the seam. And since he's a deep threat on this one. And then you have he runs like a wheel in, number 18, the motion guy. And just like I mentioned, this is just pretty standard for play action. You see this all the time. You're trying to give an easy completion, but you're not trying to like overload your quarterback. So that's the reason why the guy in the flat usually is the first read, and most of the time he's the one who gets the ball. Not a big completion, not a big deal. There's nothing to, to eviscerate the Cardinals on, or the defense at least. Well, they gave up too much yards off in the ground game. So this one, under center action, of course, hands it off. So Let's look at it from the end zone angle because I believe he's hitting the cutback lane. My apologies. Gotta let this play out again. Jesus, he takes 6'4", 265-pound Zaven Collins for a ride there. Jesus. So they're blocking right, shifting right, and then he hits the cutback lane. You have Zaven Collins essentially being the unblocked rusher here, and then you have that the cutback lane, which is basically the D gap. So you got your A, B, C, and D. So your unblocked D gap, and he reads it out. So one thing that's gets taught to running backs, and something that James Conner does really well when it comes to his patience, attack the outside and press. Then keep your eyes open for any gaps opening up all the way up to the cutback lane. This is what outside zone is pretty much is. You're looking a certain direction. If you don't see clear and you see cloudy, you move on to the next gap. You look to the outside. You want this guy essentially trying to box it in. And that's exactly what it does. Looks to gap, cloudy, 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 cloudy. Hits the cutback lane. But as he's doing that, he's pressing. He's not running full speed. He's curving his rush. And Zaven Collins gets taken for a ride. That's embarrassing. I'm sorry, Zaven. I love you as a linebacker, but this little guy took you for a ride. Come on now. How's it going, Jace? Hey, look at Merry Christmas to you too. Well, I mean, he definitely didn't help us in this game, that's for sure. I do know that I think it was PHNX PHNX put up a tweet that said did Bryce Young really outplay Kyler Murray? And a lot of people in the comment section saying like, no, he didn't, and, blah 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 and whatnot. It's kind of like an echo chamber at that point. And I said yes, he did. And it's not just because of the hard stats. The stats themselves don't always tell the full picture. He outplayed him with him bringing his team up, like Bryce Young. I mean, having that galvanization, like, hey, I just took I always go for that first down trucking of Jalen Thompson when he got up and he smiled. People talked about that. And then you have the play where, for some reason, Kyler Murray gets bailed out. And then he helps tie the game by using his feet, his legs. Chad Ryan just kicks a 58-yard field goal. Amazing. Sends it to overtime. And he's on the sideline looking like he just got, like, either he was tired, he needed some emotional help, or something was going on with him. Why aren't you up there with like getting your team hustled up, like getting your team like riled up and whatnot? Did he even like approach Chad Ryland and then like give him his like did he give him a hug? Did he like tell him good job on that, like great kick or whatnot? No, he's sitting on the bench, like just hunched over with his head down as they tied the game. You were going into like just I don't understand this. Like the amount of like defense he gets, and Justin Bowers, by the way, guy's really irritating me. Continuously has to play the defense. You don't have to defend. You don't have to defend a player. You don't have to make it like so that you have to always take the defense on a player, when it's better for you to be critical of that player so that hopefully this type of problem gets brought up and it gets fixed. Because if you're not critical of somebody that's doing something wrong and you continuously keep like avoiding even mentioning it to that person for whatever reason they may be. How is that person ever supposed to like fix whatever problem it is? He even mentioned in this, and this really irritated me. You heard the Superman thing come back up again. I have to throw on the cape and be Superman. No, he didn't. He didn't have to be Superman in that offense. Yes, he did do a like broken down like completions where the play breaks down and he's finding his open receiver and whatnot. That's why we drafted you for. You were the number 1 overall pick for a reason. We didn't draft you number 1 overall so that you can play at a game manager level. We drafted you number 1 overall because we thought you were gonna send this team to new levels and whatnot. So it is expected for you to play, like literally play with that Superman mentality, because your team does need you to be Superman. I mean, the first interaction I had with Bowers was back in 2021, and I actually liked some of his content then. He was kind of funny, but I started diverging from it when I started noticing a pattern of like, hey, this guy does nothing wrong. Like this guy, like Kyler Murray is not the problem. Let's get rid of Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury is a horrible head coach. And then now what is he doing? Like as a lot of other Kyler defenders are doing, they're just nonstop defending. They're pouring so much critique of Drew Petzing as if like, hey, you can tell what the concepts like show on the broadcast view. You can't even see what routes are being ran downfield. I mean, let me just show this as a demonstration to y'all. It's pretty basic. It shouldn't be. Like just from this yourself, it's pretty obvious that when you're watching the broadcast view, you do have your safeties here, but there's people off screen. Let's pull up a pass play. You can't see all these defenders and wide receivers off screen. How do you know what's going on down the field? How do you know that the whole concept that wide receivers don't run downfield on any concepts or there's no deep passing game is complete utter BS? Because how can you tell if you have this portion and you don't have the downfield portion? How do you know that? Exactly. I mean, that's why you need the All-22. That's why you need to look at the sideline angle from the All-22, because as you see people off screen here, you have this wide angle here that shows everybody. And if you have a receiver running a deep route, even if he doesn't get the ball, the camera pans out to try to get everybody. That's why it's called the All-22. I mean, it is what it is. People want to watch a game and then make their assessment after that. It's just like, it drives me nuts because you have to wait. You can give an assessment and say like, I didn't like how this player looked, or I didn't like how the defense or the offense operated, blah blah blah, whatever the case may be. But to give your 100% assessment and be like, hey, the downfield game, what happened to the downfield game? Is like, were you watching the broadcast view? Because if you're saying what happened to the downfield game or to the deep, there's no deep passing in this offense. Well, how can you tell? Like the broadcast view is not going to show you that. If you watch Prime TV, or I think it's Amazon Prime's version, they do have, for anybody who doesn't know, if you have the Prime version, like if you watch Thursday Night Football on Prime TV, they do give you the wide angle, so it shows every single person. So it's like watching the All-22 live. It's awesome. I love that view. But I appreciate all the comments, Jace. Thank you very much for hopping on, and then this is what I want. I want interactions with with all you guys. Oh crap. Let me take the broadcast view off. I don't want to get flagged. There we go. I want to find the big run. The one that lost us the game. Maybe I'm not doing this right. So he's empty. Okay, so you have a 3x1, no, 3x2. You got your tight end kind of attached, not really. Looking more like he's gonna run a route instead of coming into block. I always find it interesting whenever they put him at empty, because when you have your quarterback at empty, especially on a, let me double check here what down this was. On the 3rd and 2, so it was a 3rd down. When you put him in that situation, because you have like full confidence that this guy can actually pick up the 1st down by spreading everybody out and finding the right receiver. But I got to give props to, I believe it was 91 who pushed the center back and caused the disruption between the quarterback and when he was trying to escape the pocket here. Let's look at the end zone angle real quick, because I have no idea how that looked. Now it's gonna do the same BS again, so apologies about that. We'll just play it out again. Come on. No, it looks like it was Darius Robinson who caused that disruption. It's good to see that. You know, you want your rookie to be a disruptive player and a person who's a penetrator. All right, so he's lined up at the. So you got the 0, 1, A, 2I, 2, 3. So he's at 3 technique, kind of in the B gap. What it looks like. Pause on the ground. Oh, okay. So he takes off, does a inside rush, attacks the opposite shoulder of the center. Hey, that's a good pressure right there. Good pass rush right there. To be able to like move 2 gaps over, essentially 3 gaps over, and attack the center who should have a good drop on you if you're moving that far away, and still being in a position where he's holding on to your shoulder because he lost the rep. That's a good rep. This is a good rep by Darius Robinson, and something that, like, you know, it's a good thing to look forward to, because essentially, you know, that pressure, that disruption spooked Bryce Young into having to move out of the pocket. So you always got to appreciate when you see somebody like single-handedly just, you know, disrupt them, and of course the tackle was the one who was actually I think he was just trying to. Okay, let me see. I wonder what happened. I believe the defensive end dropped into to the flat, and then you have Kaiser White blitzing. Mike number 7. Oh, whenever you see the, okay, here's a little bit of a teaching about protections here. Whenever they call the mic, it's just to say which way they're sending the protection. You saw the center point towards Kaiser White. Usually they say mic number 7. So this side, so you have these guys right here who they're trying to take account for on the right side. These guys right here on the left side, but if they slide the protection to the left, that means the Kaiser White is the determining guy. So they could be like dropping 3 for 3 here, and then they I forgot it. I think I'm not sure if it's called split zone, but I forgot the passing rules for that. But since he pointed that way, it's probably going to be 3 for 2, maybe mano a mano, 5-0 protection. But anytime you guys see the center do that, he's pointing out the mic. No, he doesn't drop into the flat. I was wrong. But that's like I said, that's good pressure by Darius Robinson. Good work, young man. Make me proud. Make me not miss Will Anderson. Kind of pissed off about that, not gonna lie. Oh, now he's lined up head up on the guard. Looks like he's on the outside shoulder. He's a 3 technique. Oh boy, close your eyes, guys. Close your eyes. Oh my god. Jesus. Big gainer here. Big gainer. No bueno. All right, we'll look at the end zone angle to see what exactly happened here, but I'm not sure if Buda Baker, he does this sometimes. He tries to time the snap and blitz at the right time. But unfortunately, he was swallowed up by the tackle. I mean, you got to give it to Chuba Hubbard. That was great running. And, of course, making Garrett Williams miss on that tackle or whiff on that tackle is just egregious. That's your best coverage guy out there. You made him look like a fool. Yeah, that's embarrassing, guys. That's not. This is what I talk about when I said we're bad against the run. Our corners and defensive backs need to step up when it comes to like tackling. They're usually the worst in the team. But that was egregious. Yeah, 2 guys being down blocked. They're being blocked down the field. 2 defensive backs who just ran in the middle of, and then you had Garrett Williams who did, like, you know, he did come off his block. Literally whiffs on that tackle. Yeah, that's sad. That's poor tackling. It's interesting because you actually see Chuba Hubbard more so like he cuts because of number 18 kind of running in his path. So it actually helps him out that he runs this kind of wham blocking here or cutback blocking. Not really. He's not taking anybody on. And I believe the guy who's motioned number 83, he gets motioned twice. He's cut blocking. Actually, no, he's not cut blocking. But it actually works to their favor because the fact that he whiffed on that cut block on Zaven Collins only helped Zaven Collins rush up the field even further. If he hits him on this block, he's still in position to make that tackle. But it was actually a good thing that he missed on that. And Zaven, like, not good on reading this handoff here. Obviously, when you're the unblocked man, quote unquote, because I don't believe he was supposed to be unblocked, you're supposed to make this read here. Because if you're obviously if the quarterback doesn't hand off the ball, he's in prime position to make that tackle. But he completely misread that, and Chuba Hubbard ran towards his side of the formation, and it was a big gainer. So it's just there's no discipline there. I believe this came down to like playing undisciplined football, and not making sure that you read the handoff properly. And this is going to be, unfortunately, the game winner. And once again, just poor tackling. It really just comes down to that, poor tackling. Yeah, 2 players, one who's Sean Murphy Bunting, which, by the way, that's another issue I had with Vance Joseph that I'm starting to see with this coaching staff, and I'm starting to think that it's more politics in the locker room than it is actual, like, putting the best guys out there to succeed and the best players out there. I'm getting tired of this. I understand that Sean Murphy-Bunting is making more money than all these other defensive backs out here. I understand that. I don't care. I don't care that he makes more money than any of these defensive backs out here. We need to get to a point, and I will explain this with Vance Joseph and why he's having success with Denver, because he didn't do that here with Arizona. He did the same BS where he had the most experienced veterans playing out there and getting out snapping like younger, more talented players who need to learn, who needed to get their bumps and learn. They're not letting him get away with that crap over there in Denver. They're not. Before that 70-point game, he had people ahead of other more talented players in the roster. I believe he had I'm not sure what the names of these defenders, the edge defenders. And then he had somebody, McMillan, waiting on the bench. One of his best players to this day, the slot cornerback, the apex, the star in that defense that he rolls out. McMillan wouldn't have had that chance to even flourish if Vance Joseph got his way. Well, what are we doing here? Why are we doing the same crap here? Sean Murphy-Bunting is not a good cornerback in the system. He's always played third fiddle in any defense. When he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I believe he was the slot cornerback on that defense. Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis, who still to this day don't understand why the Cardinals never made a move for Carlton Davis. Those were the two premier corners. Sean Murphy-Bunting was the third fiddle. He was the guy that they could hide out. Now, he played the slot, and back then, the slot wasn't as important as it is now. Now he's just our boundary corner. There's a reason why he was the first one that moved on. Or the one defensive back that Tampa Bay didn't want to retain. But we're seeing it right now. We're seeing it unveiling in our own eyes. What plays has he made? He's not breaking on the ball to make an interception for a game-winning play. Yes, he punched the ball. Good for him. And forced a fumble. A couple, actually. But when it comes down to it, and you're over here, you're supposed to make the tackle on a running back that's smaller than you are on a 1st and 10? On a 1st and 10. And he completely just lays you out. You had, you're the essentially the unblocked defender in the flat. You're unblocked. You're the guy that is the safety blanket here. I get it. It wasn't just him who made the tackle and he whiffs. I don't think number 30. Yeah, that's Jalen Thompson. Actually, that's embarrassing on 2 levels. I love Jalen Thompson. I was a big fan of him since we drafted him in the supplemental draft. But this year has not been good to Jalen Thompson. I believe he had like a good grade this game. I don't know why. But that's embarrassing. You have 2 veterans out there who you're paying handsomely. You're paying them all this money so they can whiff on tackles in important times. This ended it for us. That was it. It was a walk-off. Pure embarrassment. Look at the crowd going wild out there. I'm not sure what he's doing dance-wise, but he just splits the difference here. He splits the defenders. Makes them both miss. Jesus. Give me an aneurysm if I don't. I got to chill out with these. Embarrassing. All right, let's go move on to Kyler Murray now in OT. Let's see what happened. We already went over the interception. We don't have to go over that again. Embarrassment. But we got to see what was going on with him and Marv. Now, once again, I'm a Marvin defender, but his hands have been horrendous. He doesn't have strong hands. But a lot has been said about how he doesn't come back to the ball. Now, I've been making the argument the ball placement has to be there. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you have to lead your guys to be open, essentially. So, okay. Incomplete short. All right. Takes the handoff. It's in the shotgun, of course. Okay. This is one of the egregious ones. This is what made the argument about Marvin Harrison Jr. not coming back to the ball. He runs a comeback route. Now, this is a good route, by the way. I like the how fluid it is. Like, wide receivers are taught to kind of you're running downfield, you kind of bring your head up for a second to kind of threaten the corner, making them think that you're running a go route. So you see them jogging, they're taking off, and then they come up. When they come up, they want you to bite on that because you're trying to sell the go route. You're trying to make them, and when I said bite, I mean flip their hips. As you can see, he's flipping his hips to the outside, number 2. And then he drops, and he's about to run the comeback, which is it's just wide receiver technique. Turns around, it's looking for the ball. The ball's already out of his hands, so it's like an anticipatory throw. Look at the trajectory of the ball. Kyler Murray released it. As I just mentioned, once again, ball placement. The trajectory of the ball, it's already up in the air. You can't change it. It's already that's it. It's already been done. He tries to high point that ball. Good for him, but what is when people say he's supposed to come back to the ball, I don't understand. What is he supposed to do here? Yeah. No kidding, right? Yeah. Let's stop and take a breath. Yeah, I'm a little bit stuffed up, but no, you're definitely right. Silver Wolf cannot stroke out before. I mean, tell me you guys are seeing this, right? So I know that there's some people on Twitter that post clips and stuff. They'll post their clips and everything like that. They'll write whatever they write on their tweet, and usually it's the same type of narratives that everybody else would just talk about and follow along. But at this point, like I said, the ball's already made up. Now, could he go a little bit further out, towards the ball? I don't know how, because he's coming back to it. You can't overshoot that. What do you expect, to come back harder? Oh, he didn't come back to the ball. He needs to start doing that more often. And this is one of the egregious snaps here where he drops it. That's JC Horn out there. He's a good cornerback. Don't get it twisted. This guy's a stud. He makes a play on the ball. One of the things that is often talked about with quarterbacks is you always want to lead your receivers open and put it in a place where they can only catch it. If you want this trajectory to be a completion, you might want to throw it closer to where the sticks are, down here. Because clearly he can't overshoot this, because if he overshoots this cornerback is seeing interception. Comes back harder. He's not catching that. He's trying to put his body between him and the defender. He's doing exactly what he's being taught to do as a wide receiver. High pointing it. Trying to put his hands out. Furthest possible length from the corner, the defender, to try to make sure that he can secure the catch. comes down with it. Unfortunately, like I said, J.C. Horn makes a good play on it. I believe that's that's Jackson. I'm sorry, I'm tripping here. That is not J.C. Horn. We still made a really good play on the ball. But that little pause right there is what I think people are kind of misconstruing about like Marvin Harrison Jr. The pause was just him trying to like kind of measure up to see how far away he has to like kind of like get to the ball on. So he's like reading to see where the ball's at. Then he just jumps up, puts his hands out, and unfortunately doesn't come down with it. But once again, as I said, if you want him to secure that catch, you might want to throw it somewhere in this vicinity and not right here, because he has to pause, gather his feet, jump up, and try to make that catch. At that point, the ball's in the air. There's nothing you can do about that. You can't make the ball go where you want it to go. Once it's been released, it's been released. That's what I was talking about. Chemistry needs to be developed between these two. No doubt. All right, let's look at the next play, which is another incompletion. Another one of the egregious drops. Something that's there's some critics that are coming out. They're coming out on Marvin Harrison Jr. vehemently. Look where the ball's being thrown. Once again, another ball placement situation. He's turning, expecting the ball to be somewhere in this vicinity, so he can break on it, so he can catch the ball, so he can shield himself. And if not, he's at least wanting to have the ball somewhere between the numbers, at least where he's breaking out to. He could break out this direction and still make the catch. He could break out this direction and still make the catch. So it could be a comeback or it could be an out route. Either one is a completion. He has nothing but green grass ahead of him, and he has the corner at the very least like shielded away. He has to turn around. He has to catch it behind him. That's what we talk about. And if you guys don't watch the QB school, I would recommend it fully. JT O'Sullivan knows this stuff. Wasn't a good quarterback in the NFL, but this guy knows more about plays, quarterbacks, obviously because he was one, so he was in the quarterback room. Also, Kurt Warner has put a couple study balls out there, and he put one about the Chargers game. These guys, they'll tell you about ball placement, and as a quarterback, you want to lead your receivers open. You don't want to put them in a position where they have to come back to the ball or allow the defender to make a play on that. Well, as you can see, like the ball placement just wasn't there. He has to turn when he has to turn around, the ball's thrown behind him, and it's in a vicinity where he can't shield him. He can't use his body to shield, the ball from the defender because it's behind him. He can make a play on that. Obviously, he makes a tackle, and I think the reason why the criticism has been so vehemently about like Marvin Harrison Jr. is because that tackle didn't even seem like it was that big, like it was that hard. He didn't hit him very hard or anything like that, and it's like it makes him look soft. I will admit that it makes Marvin look damn soft, and it's just like when you see that, and it seems like he's not really trying to like secure that or anything like that. He gets like somewhat tackled and he drops the ball, and it's just like, dude, you're soft. If that was DeAndre Hopkins or if that was Larry Fitzgerald, they'd come down with it because they'd fight you for it. Meanwhile, you have Marv not even getting hit here, and he just drops the ball. So I will say that I think that criticism of him is warranted, but ball placement is it's no excuse for the ball placement. Look where the ball is at when he's about to catch it. It's behind him, allowing the DB to make a play. Let's go ahead and watch the end zone angle on that. I think through the end zone angle, you'll get a better look to see where the sorry about that, guys. Just let it play out. All right. He's in the ball, of course. He's decisive. Look at that. He has to come back to it. Now, I will admit, he had his hands out. Looks like he kind of whiffed on it and it hit his body. So he had to like not contort but turn. Went through his mitts. Yes, he should have caught that 100%. There are wide receivers that can correct like their quarterbacks and make catches. Like, for instance, DeAndre Hopkins did that with Kyler Murray so many times. He corrected a bunch of his throws where they weren't perfectly on target. Maybe that's what's going on with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray was so used to having somebody just come down, snatch the ball, no matter what angle he was, that he could be careless about the ball placement. But still, like I said, as you can see, he had to turn back defenders in the position to be able to make a play on the ball. Sorry, that's bad ball placement by the quarterback. Oh, here's a little scramble that he gets for like 8 yards. Okay, so this is good to look at when you look at the scrambles because obviously we don't have Kyler Murray do any design runs anymore. This is where people will say like, "Oh my God, he had to scramble because nobody got open downfield," or the pressure just got to him. Oh, Norma Jean, hi, Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you for joining us in the chat. Okay, okay. Alrighty, enough of that. He's looking downfield. What are we looking at here? We're looking at Trey McBride. They're running somewhat of this is not exactly mesh. They're running this from the bunch formation at the bottom. So you have the bunch formation to the field. You have the running back who's running to the flat. You have Trey McBride and whatever his name is. Number 17. Running a shallow. They're both running shallows and kind of meshing. Yeah, Michael Wilson. Yeah, they're running dagger. So Michael Wilson and Marvin Harrison Jr. are running dagger while Trey McBride and number 17 are just running the mesh over the middle. Pretty interesting that's never seen that before. So they're switch releasing into their dagger, which dagger just means somebody's running a deep route while the other wide receivers running like a out route into it. So you'll see this happen in that scenario. That's called dagger. Tell me, guys. This notion that like there's no deep passing game or that Kyler Murray is not being told that he can't target deep, that's complete BS. Are you guys seeing what I see? Now, I know Marvin Harrison Jr. isn't running this particularly like with, like a bunch of like he's actually out there like trying 100%, but he's open. He's open. Kyler Murray wants to hit him. He could dump it. He could throw it deep to this vicinity. Nobody's within 5 yards of Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, that's why we watch the film. You watch the film to see what's going on. And of course, Kyler Murray scrambled. He's got him right there. He wants to hit him deep. He's got him right there. And I know people are going to say the pressure got to him. Let's look at the end zone angle on that. Because a lot of times he kind of feels the pressure and he gets spooked and he just runs away. You don't have to run. You can move, drift to your left. That's how quarterbacks most of the time, or you can drift back towards the middle or towards the inside. This is what, like, when you keep your feet squared, you can do that because you want to generate power and you're still looking downfield. Once he's in a running, like, formation, like he's about to run, which is what he's doing here, has both hands on the ball, you don't have that base anymore. You made up your mind. You're just going to go for it. You're just going to get the yardage with your feet. You're giving up on the concept. Whatever's downfield is negligible, but you see quarterbacks that do float in the pocket or essentially like keep their base down. They're able to just keep their feet square, look downfield. If he feels pressure coming from his right side, he drifts to his left or he drifts to the inside, gets in the middle of that pocket. That also helps their tackles be able to be in a better position to be able to like pass protect. Whereas like if he, for some reason, just runs to a certain direction, runs the same direction as the defensive end is giving chase to, tackle can't do anything about that anymore. He has to release. Ross is holding. He had the time. Just float to your left. You don't have to run, but it's what Kyler Murray does. All right, he's in the pistol here. Guessing it's going to be a handoff. Yep, it is a handoff. Straight run up the middle. Nothing special about that. Just your standard pistol formation run up the middle. So we don't really have to look at that one. There's nothing to it. I will say they did that on 4th and 2, so that's the reason why. Because they were just trying to get the first down on the 4th down call. That was a gutsy call, by the way. Kudos to Jonathan Gannon for making that call. This is a good run. Oh, that's GT lead. So you have your pullers to the right side. You have your guard and your tackle, essentially just pulling and becoming your lead blockers. And then you have just down blocks here by the tight ends. He's taking on the defender in the second level, releasing. That's something that like you got to give to Drew Petzing. He knows how to scheme up like the run. All right, well, we got 2nd and 5, 3rd and 5, and 3rd and 10. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go on to the sack because they had the delay of game. Well, actually, let's look at this real quick, and then we'll go to the sack, and then we're gonna close up shop because a lot of you guys have to go to sleep. That's just, oh my God, I forgot about this play. I forgot about this. He's got him over the middle here. He's got him over the middle. He's hitting at the deepest part of his drop. Hitting it, he's off his back foot. He's got him over the middle. What happened here? Is this the reason why people are talking about that Kyler Murray's arm is done? Or something's wrong with his arm? Look at the way he releases this. Does it get batted down? No, it's just a late read and a late throw. I think what happened to Kyler Murray is because he read it so late. He was afraid of actually hitting Higgins because he didn't want this defender to pretty much cut that that passing lane and just intercept the ball. It's kind of weird because, he would have to target him out here because of it being so late. So it's like he was like, no, change your mind. No. He'd be like, it's fine. Let's just make it an incompletion. But Higgins was wide open. So the timing here is it was just horrendous. Right there's where he's supposed to be throwing the ball. He throws the ball this general area. Higgins, that's like not sure how big of a completion. That's like a 20-yard completion almost. Maybe even more. Maybe he can keep running for it because just a big missed opportunity. I don't. How do you? Oh, you did? Yeah, it's embarrassing. I remember watching it and like when I watched the game, I hadn't come across this play. This is I thought to myself like how embarrassing that you like it looked like you didn't even like there's no power. Now something I don't know. Maybe what happened was the defender kind of scared him. And he just like threw it kind of like it was just awkward. Let's go ahead and look at the end zone angle. Let's see if we can get a better idea of like what happened. Like why did he throw it so off? So weird. All right. Let's see. This is a good route by Higgins, though. I think Higgins is a special talent that we found. All right. Top of his drop. Oh, my God. Look at Trey McBride getting pancaked out there. Oh, boy. Come on, Trey. No. No, he flops. I'm sorry. Oh, my God, Trey. Yeah, he's just off balance. That's all it is. He didn't have to do that. Like, he throws it off balance here. Look at this. Maybe he thought the defender was going to bat it down somehow. There's no way. He's too far. Yeah, that's his momentum couldn't stop him. So he basically almost stopped on a dime, but didn't, and lost his balance and just threw it all awkward. Yeah, that was a horrendous throw. I'm sorry. Jeez, that's bad. Oh boy, that's bad. You don't get your top-notch quarterback to do that stuff like that. He's supposed to have that rocket arm where he can throw it from any angle and still hit his target. I don't know, guys. Does that look like he can hit his target with from any angle? No, it doesn't. Well, this is past. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. That body language, I just can't stand it. Moving people around, getting annoyed because he's trying to line him up. Now he's calling him back. Like he's motioning. Yeah, too much happening here. And by the way, before anybody starts going off about like Drew Petzing being the play caller here, Kyler Murray has his wrist and he's making the calls here. He's calling the play here. He has his wristband out. As we know, the 2-minute warning, quarterbacks usually want to go into a hurry up situation. They can't just have their offensive coordinator just survey the field from where they're at and make the decision just right off the bat. You want to get into a hurry up situation when you're in a 2-minute warning. He's looking at his wristband. He's looking at the wristband that these quarterbacks have because he's trying to pull up to see what play he's trying to run. Now, goes ahead and makes the call, just lines up. Now he's, calling for his motion. These guys are setting up. So you have your 3. They're talking amongst each other. He's calling them to shift over to the left side of the formation. Not sure what he's pointing at here. It almost seems like he's trying to tell him to come back or something. Motions him. Tells him where to line up. Does some sort of hand signals. We'll look at the end zone angle here. Now he's calling over for the motion on Michael Wilson. Yeah. That was on Kyler. Don't remember who got called for that false start, but when you see him and jolt like that, people will they will move from your own line of scrimmage. See, when you do that jolt with your foot, people are gonna move. They're gonna jolt. That's gonna cause the false start. All right, let's see the end zone angle, and then we got one more play, guys. Look at this guy celebrating. It's important to see these plays as well, by the way, to watch these plays, because it gives so much nuance on body language, communication. All right, he's motioning them, telling them where to line up. All right, not sure what that hand signal is. Now he's calling Michael Wilson to obviously shift over. And yeah, that's it. And look at the body language here. And by the way, like I said, it's got his little playbook right there. I see what happened. I don't know if you guys saw it, but if you guys didn't, I'll pause it. But whose fault is this? That's what happened. That's why the false start happened. Who's in control of hiking the ball or calling for the ball to be hiked? Who's motioning the receiver, as you saw? It was Kyler. He called for the motion here. First, he moves Zay Jones. That's his name. Moves him to be the number 1 to the boundary. Motioning Michael Wilson, getting the stance, kicking his foot up as if he's hiking the ball. And you saw the jolt. It wasn't just like a subtle one. It was the type that you see right before the ball gets hiked. What happens if, for instance, Froholt hikes the ball here? It's not hard. There's a good chance that this ball hits Michael Wilson if he releases it when he's calling for it. Is he trying to do this so it's tight? Like, hey, look, this is how we practice it. We have our wide receiver move from one side to the formation to the other, and then we hike the ball. He kicks. Usually when he kicks, he calls for the ball right there. Froholt's looking. He's looking. Then he pulls his head up. That's when the false start happens. I'm sorry, but Kyler Murray's orchestrating this. This has nothing to do with Drew Petzing. Drew Petzing has nothing to do with it. And people are going to get mad at Drew Petzing for not having anything to do with this. Grow up, guys. He's a veteran now. 6 years in the league. You want your quarterbacks to do this. This is what's expected from them. It would be the same way if you drafted another quarterback first overall and whatever his situation may be. This is exactly how he would operate the offense. Same thing. I'm sorry, but like I can only show it so many times. And then he gets annoyed. That's a cherry on top. He's the one who causes the false start, and then he gets annoyed. Like he's like, what do you want him to do? Look at that. That body language is exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly. That's all that ever happens. It's just blame. It's Petzing. That playbook is horrible. The play calling and stuff. And this is on Petzing. No, this is not on Petzing here. He has nothing to do with this play. But like I said, this right here is where culture. And by the way, what happened after this game? Trey McBride called us soft. There's that viral situation where he literally looks at the camera and says we're soft. The culture is taking a hit. That's bad. You don't want your guys to start being like that. Why? Do you think he got mad? Do you think he got mad because this situation happened and instead of, I don't know, holding himself accountable, he just like gets annoyed, does this whole like throws his hands up like he always does? Jesus. Jesus Christ. All right, I'm going to go ahead and follow the instructions of Silverwolf and not give myself a aneurysm or stroke. But we are to the last play of the night. All right, guys. This is a sack. It's important to see what he saw downfield and why or what happened. All right. That's he's hitting the back foot of his drop right there. We want to see what's happening and what's breaking open and what targets does he have. He has Trey McBride, which is a safety blanket. Looks like everybody like sank in coverage. So it's 3rd and 10. So that's the reason why they sank in coverage, because they have to go 10 yards. What are the Panthers in? What coverage? Looking like standard quarters coverage here. You got your 4, and then you have your 5-man front. You have your 2. This is a slot cornerback and your apex, and you have your linebacker, your hook defender. You have your corner, safety. So just looks like standard quarters, and quarters, everybody, he drops. It's just keep everything in front of you. That's all it is. So you need 10 yards to go. You're going to run routes trying to attack those, the sticks and whatnot. So it's going to be hard. It's really hard to gain on 3rd and 10, especially since you're one of the worst 3rd down conversion teams out there, and they know it's hard for you to get that first down. There's not much you can do design wise. That's the reason why sometimes they just call it draw, because they don't have I don't think they have the confidence that like he can gain the first down on a down by down basis. I mean, even the running backs being covered. The only thing I can say here is, once again, his vision is going to be the ceiling here, but you do have Trey McBride who can possibly make a play on this. He is athletic enough, and he does have the juice to be able to get this first down. If he catches it in stride and runs over to the pylon, there's a good chance he might get it. If not, he can get enough yardage to hopefully make it a 4th down and a 4th and manageable. But there's no way he's going to see him. Look how much bodies there are. He just gets spooked. Vision gets he starts looking at this picture, starts looking cloudy, and he just bails from the pocket. Yeah, you can't even see Kyler Murray here. That's how gobbled up he gets. He's not going to see Trey McBride. Trey McBride puts the mailbox, or whatever they call it. He whiffs on that. But he's looking back to the ball. You throw it in stride, maybe you can make that play. But that's all they're giving you. On 3rd and 10, there's not very many options to be able to design a good play. Now, there's some people that can, but there's no way he's seeing them. Yeah, I agree. Especially if you're gonna throw it deep on coverage, on quarters coverage, which is usually seen as prevent defense most of the time, because you're just having your 4 defenders drop into their deep quarters and they're just keeping everything in front of them. You can design some things maybe to be able to get somebody free, but it's hard. It's hard because they also drop the hook defender, and they drop the apex, they drop the hook, and it's hard. They do that on purpose. That's why they say they try to keep everything ahead of them. And in this circumstance, he would have to dump it down, but you can't see him. You can't see him. Like I said, his vision just gets covered up, and what is he doing with it? That's where he has to take a sack. And you know what? Usually you'll hear the blame on the offensive line. They've been one of the best offensive lines at not only pass protection, but also when it comes to like giving up the least amount of like sacks this season. So the only way you can say that this is the offensive line's fault is you count 2.5 seconds after the ball gets snapped. If it's before that, somebody got beat or somebody got free. If it's after that, you can't blame the the offensive line. Yeah, takes about 4 seconds to get them. So, hey, it is what it is. Hopefully next week, Saturday, this upcoming game, I will be out of town, so I will be doing more uploads constantly. I will have the free time to be able to do so. I will be flying to Texas, and hopefully we can do some more All-22 coverage. And like I said, just join me here. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's get a community going, and it'd be awesome because I do like these interactions that I'm having with you guys. As you can see, I'm reading the comments, and I like having this back and forth with you guys in the community. Yeah, that I don't know if so the tendonitis, it may be a thing, but as like on that throw where he like hitched and then he threw it downfield anyway and was way off. I think that was just a bad decision. On that other throw I showed where he missed Higgins pretty bad, he was just off balance. That's why I was thinking to myself, is this why this comes out? Now, they're not going to tell us, Silver Wolf. They're definitely not going to tell us. We'll find out during the offseason. If those rumors are legitimate, that's bad on Kyler Murray because it's just another thing that's like another circumstance where like his shortcomings, like, or not his shortcomings, but his, I forgot what the terminology is for it. It's basically like his restrictions or whatnot. Not restrictions, his ceiling basically. It's to a certain point. And if it's tendinitis, that's actually what's causing this, like his arm just like not generating that power because he's having pain in it. If it comes out during the offseason, yeah, it would behoove this coaching staff to try to find somebody else. I don't understand why they haven't tried to, get a comparable, like not a comparable backup, but somebody can be competition. We need competition for him out there. He needs to have he needs to have fire lit under his butt, because right now I think this is like more complacency, because even he mentioned the Superman thing to the Fox crew, and we have to keep hearing about how he said like he doesn't have to be Superman, which is funny because now that we're not making him Superman, people, talking heads are complaining that like something's wrong with this, and for some reason Marvin Harrison Jr. not having 1,400 yards right now, that the expectation was like, hey, he needs to have 1,400 yards. We thought he was going to be the next coming of Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, as if those guys are like the norm. They're the exception. Those guys are the exception, and they went to a perfect location to be able to have those type of seasons. But either way, as I mentioned, time and time again. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to show you guys the full picture and what happened and all the nuances and stuff. But gonna have to close out, guys. You guys have a Merry Christmas tomorrow. Hopefully I'll see you guys more often with the weeks to come. And you guys have a great Christmas Eve, and go Cardinals.